Welcome to another episode of Salon Life. With WhatSalon, everything you need to run, manage, and grow your salon business. This is Salon Life.
Hi, this is Naomi, and welcome to another episode of Salon Life with WhatSalon. Today we have with us Karine Jackson. Karine Jackson is a multi-award-winning celebrity stylist, champion high-fashion organic colorings, and owns a salon in the West End. She's at the top of her game, and Karine, we're so delighted to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you, Naomi. I'm quite excited about being here. Lots to tell.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you. So you have quite a story, and you got into hairdressing quite young, just involved with your parents' salon, and did I read you first started your training at 15?
I did. I couldn't wait to leave school, and all I wanted to do was hairdressing. So my mum had a salon which I worked in. But as soon as I'd finished my apprenticeship, I was on a plane over here to London. I actually went to Canada first.
Did you? Really? Where
I did, yeah, which was fabulous. And then made my way over to London and travelled around Europe. And when I got back to London, I thought, this is where I need to be. Yeah.
You just loved it.
I loved it. Yeah, I still do, actually.
Yeah.
I had some guy boring me on the train coming back from a shoot on Sunday, saying, why would you want to live in London? And you're like, well, there's galleries, there's culture, there's...
there's an incredible vibe.
Yeah, it's really good. I love it.
You must miss the sun, though, do you?
I do. I miss the beach, my family, but I'm lucky I get to go home regularly, so
That's
get to see them. If you're there all the time, you get bored of it.
Yeah, of course. It's good to travel.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your journey, because you've come a long way since you finished your apprenticeship and got on that plane. So what were the next steps? How did you get from there to here, like A to B?
So when I came to London, I just worked for a small company, which was fine, and it helped me get on my feet, made me see what I really wanted to do. I did go back to Australia for a year and work with the Australian champion in bridal and hair up, and she taught me a lot. She taught me about organization and discipline in our hairdressing craft. So when I came back to London, I worked for Charles Worthington for 6 years, working on his international art team and managing one of his salons. Then in 2002, I decided that it was my turn to have a go at this on my own. And it's been an amazing journey, actually. Not always perfect, but I think I set myself on a path quite naturally. And without realizing it, I opened the salon in 2003, big salon in the West End. Might not have done now if I had hindsight. But I have an amazing team, 5 of them, which have been with me, or 3 of them since the beginning, and
Wow.
the other 2 a long time. So I have a very loyal team that have been on my journey with me, which I think makes a difference, and it makes it easy for me to be able to go ahead and do all the things that I do. But I went down the organic path when one of my clients, she got cancer, and she asked me to look into colour and using something with less chemicals that was better for her. And I was like, oh, it's not going to work, all that same old excuses. So I did a bit of research and I tried some products out. And firstly, I was shocked at what went into colour. And the processes, the testing. So I tried a few brands and came across Organic Colour Systems, which were British. At the time, carbon footprint was the big subject. And their products produced and made in the UK using ethical ingredients. So yeah, I started using that about 15 years ago, and I've been with them ever since. I'm their international global director. Worked on their shoot on Sunday actually in Bournemouth, which was great. And yeah, we've just been building on that for years and become, I suppose, we're really well known in London for working ethically and with brands that really look after the client and the hairdresser. Because something I found, it's really good, because I used to have an incredibly bad cough. And when I stopped using conventional colour, the cough went.
No way.
Yeah, I think it was ammonia in it. The ammonia in it.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, it's been...
You kind of don't think about the effects for the stylist. You think about the effect on the person getting the colour in their hair.
Yeah, so there's all the angles of that's been quite amazing. And recently, plastic has been my biggest issue.
Yes, because you're very much into sustainability. So tell us about that.
Yeah, and I think that's come from, I was remembering a little story that my mum told me when I was little. I had a real issue with litter on the streets, and she said I was about 8 or 9. Actually, I remember doing it. I sat and drew little pictures one Sunday of do the right thing, put your rubbish in the bin, and I went around sticking it everywhere, all over lampposts and everything.
Good for you.
So I think
It's always in you.
Yeah, it's always been there. But recently I've been working with one of our clients who came to us because we were using organic colour, Lucy Siegel, and she presents on the One Show and writes for The Times about sustainability and plastic. So she's recently written a book, Turn the Tide on Plastic. And together we've been working to look at the salon. So we've been doing a big plastic assessment, like you would do a risk assessment or for health and safety.
Yes.
And what plastic's coming in and out of the salon. And on my Instagram, we've sort of just been doing little stories. Not as many as I'd like because I've been so busy, but one of them was just, I was going to, for 1 week, collect all the plastic that just came into my office. Well, within 3 days, I'd had enough and I was drowning in plastic.
Really?
So I stopped and I'd filmed it because I just didn't want any more around me.
Of course.
But what's been really amazing is the response from my industry. Everywhere I'm going at the moment, people come up saying, I'm loving your Instagram feed. What can we do? I never thought about this. Just the little changes that we're making, like if you serve bottled water, swap to a Brita filter, or I'm trying to think of them offhand now, but there's loads of tiny little changes. You know, we've started ordering toilet paper that doesn't come wrapped in plastic.
Oh, wow. Very good.
Yeah, and we've become an eco-stockist for refillable products. Organic colour systems that I work with, we're working with their recycle, reuse, refill. So you can bring your bottles in now and get them refilled.
Oh, wow. With the shampoo?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the one thing I'm saying to the hairdressers that I meet, you know, plastic's in our lives and it was brought in to take the pressure off our natural resources. But we've gone too far the other way now. So it's getting that balance. Don't chuck plastic away just because you think, oh, I've got to go plastic free, because that's the worst thing you can do.
Okay, interesting.
Just try and stop single-use plastic. You know, I've banned my team from bringing water bottles in. So I bought them all reusable, drink bottles and coffee cups. But the amount of plastic they came in. So I sent all the plastic back to the company with a letter. What I've realised is as a consumer, the big companies aren't going to change until we make them.
Yes.
You know, some people say, oh, they're not going to listen. But if enough of us say it and do it, they will listen. And as hairdressers, we have people's ears. You know, we have the client sitting in front of us and just that little, well, why don't we try doing this? Or just by doing it yourself, they start asking, what can I do?
Yes.
And we're creating a movement, and I'm really proud. I was at a hair event yesterday of the amount of people that came up and said, what little things can I do? I want to do more.
Right.
And that just makes me really proud. And then, you know, little things like, oh, well, our team won't get on board. And I said, well, we sat down as a team and I showed them, there's a great documentary on TV, Turn the Tide on Plastic. Not Turn the Tide, sorry, that's the book, Drowning in Plastic. Okay. And the Drowning in Plastic, she highlights what animals are eating and what rivers are being clogged that you can walk across. And I showed them the footage, and that's all it took. My team are on board.
That's great.
And I hear them talking to other people. So, but what, you know, I don't want to, I've got the opportunity to have everyone's ear on this, which is great. But I don't want to lose the creative side either. Right. You know, yesterday we were working on the Julian McDonald show, and there were signs everywhere, you know, where plastic, works sustainably. We're trying to be plastic free. And a lot of companies there turned up with their boxes of stuff with all wrapped in plastic. And so we all put it in the box and said, you know, is this acceptable? And then got on with creating amazing hair. So
very good.
We've got to keep questioning what our companies are doing. And I think they're listening. Yeah. The more we say it, the better it will be.
Where it starts to become the norm, you know, you're starting to make a movement where that becomes the norm. That's really good.
Yeah, and it's exciting. And, I've worked with there's a young blogger called Lizzie Outdoors, and she had cancer and she worked in a big banking job, and she decided to change her direction. She now rides one of those standing boards around canals and beaches. Yeah, she's amazing. You should have a look at her Instagram. And she's just, getting people together, in communities to come and clean up their areas and document their plastic. So it's exciting. It's when you get your teeth into something, I suppose like setting up my business, that's what I'm really obsessed about it. And then, creating great collections. And now you can also give back as well, which is really good. And it must
be attracting a unique clientele to you as well that are interested in your creative expertise, but also the fact that you are sustainable and more,
it does.
A different angle to a traditional salon, for example.
It is, yeah. And, we do attract a clientele because we're using the organic colour. But, they want the same fashion as everybody else.
Of course they do.
They just want to better.
Yes.
And it's interesting because a lot of my friends in the industry, 5-10 years ago were like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you going down that route? You need a big brand behind you. And just, no, I don't. This is how I work. This is what I want to do. And now they're all looking at me going, wow, you're a bit ahead of the game, weren't you?
I love that. Yeah, you kind of broke the bounds and like what is acceptable for progression and like created your new pathway.
And it doesn't, I had a situation once on a shoot. I wanted to create this yellow, and my hairdresser friend that was with me, he said, well, shall I go get crazy colour? I said, no, this will work. It's organic, it's fine, there's no chemicals in it. And when we did the colour, it was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And it's that canary yellow that we're all seeing now that we were doing 5 years ago.
Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. And just to say
oh, sorry.
No, go. I was just going to say that the colours are still as vibrant with the organic, because I think there can be a perception that it is a different quality if it doesn't, if it's different than what everybody's used to.
That's it, and it's what people are used to. It's the norm, and they get nervous when they have to go outside of that box. Yeah. And people are scared of change. They
of course.
They want to take baby steps at it. And luckily enough, I have been taking baby steps, but for 15 years, and now
you're eons ahead of everybody.
Now I can take giant feet. Yeah, but hopefully, it's getting that message out there, and I have really amazing friends in the industry that are ready to help, and we have to trust the clients.
So most of our listeners are salon owners. So for a salon owner that would be interested in taking the first steps towards sustainability, what are the first baby steps that they can take? Because it can be.
Well, I think the first thing, without plugging Lucy's book, because a lot of the stuff in Lucy's book, but she makes it simple for you.
Okay.
And she puts a little assessment plan in there. So you can, I would say the first thing to do is walk through your salon and look at every single bit of plastic, right, what holds your files? That's going to be there for 20 years holding files. So put that aside, don't worry. Do you need the drink bottles? Do you need toilet paper that comes in plastic? Are your product companies recycling? How much plastic are they sending you? I'm trying to think. We've cut so much out. I can't even think of any of it right now. But we don't buy single-use plastic. Even for our lunches, we go and not buy. We buy things separately, not in the packets.
Very good. I think your point is very good, though, because just making an assessment, because sometimes you're not even aware of the things that are a regular part of your surroundings until you zone in to focus on it specifically, and then you can realize the difference that you can make in small areas that don't really affect your day-to-day life.
Exactly. And that's one thing I heard one of my team players last night saying to another member on the team going, oh, it's really easy. It's just little steps. And, if we don't do this, there's not going to be a planet. And I was so proud of this, 21-year-old saying it to another hairdresser.
That's brilliant.
You've got to breed the culture in your salon as well. So sit down with your team and explain why you're doing it. Because I think if you just go in and say, right, we're not having plastic, and you can't have drink bottles or water bottles, and you can't have single-use coffee cups, they'll get their back up because they'll think, oh, I'm not doing that. But if you sit down as a group and you show them a little bit of footage, do a little research on the internet, there's plenty of stuff out there. Yeah. I think looking at drowning in plastic is a really good documentary to have a look at, and then get them to say, well, what do you think we should do? Because then it's a group thing, and they all get behind it.
I think you've just touched on a topic that I wanted to ask you about just with your team management, because when you mentioned at the beginning that some of your team had been with you from the beginning, like that's exceptional, because staff retention is always a big issue for salon owners. And so you said 3 of your 5 have been with you from the beginning. And I think you just touched on it there in mentioning your approach to sustainability with them. But could you just talk a little bit about team management and how you've created this team and any tips you have for, staff morale and retention? And
I mean, staff is probably the most difficult thing in business. Yes. And, I am very fortunate that I have a great team. It's never been easy. I'm not going to say that. Yeah. We are like little squabbling families sometimes. Everybody has an opinion. Every Friday we sit down as a team, and sometimes we leave the meeting all, jubilant. And then other times it's like, oh, this isn't good. But we've flushed out the issues. I think it's important that they all have a part in what direction you take the business, and that they feel important. So something we introduced about 6 years ago was specialists, honing in on each person's skill. You can't expect everyone to be perfect at everything. Right. And, I have Anna, who is my longest. She was my first employee. We specialize in perming, and we do a lot of it. And people are saying perming's coming back. We've been doing a lot of it for about 5 years.
Wow.
It's really popular with young people, the man perm, or I heard a term for that, so the merm. young lads coming in having the top part of their hair permed, and Anna is exceptional at this. She does a thorough consultation. She won't perm the hair unless she thinks it's in the right condition. And if you're not prepared to take them steps with her, we're not prepared to do it. So that is Anna's specialty, and that's what we build her on. I have Simon, who's my second longest staff member, and he specialises in colour, and swapping him over from the commercial colour we used to organic was my hardest step. He didn't want to swap over, and he was a colour specialist, and I'm not going to use this, and kicking and screaming. And a few years ago I sent him on a year-long training program where you use all sorts of different colours, but it was more about techniques. And he came back in after the first session. He said, because I never want to use conventional colour again. It's
really?
Yeah. So you've got to let people do it in their time as well.
What was the name of that program?
Oh, it's with the Fellowship for British Hairdressing. It's a colour project. I was past president, but before I was president, it's a great organisation to get your team working neutrally with brands. So, and I think that's important. You need to know what you've got, and to know that you have to know what's out there.
Yes.
But that's about working with, Chris Williams from Rush, and Lisa Shepherd and Joe O'Neill, and they learn from different mentors in a year-long program. That's exciting for them. So that keeps them interested as well. So to be a specialist, you need to be training constantly. Even myself, I'm going I've won a place on a global mentorship. So I'm going to be mentored for a week in business.
Excellent.
I think always learning and always having a goal. That's fun, but it's what you're interested in, not what your boss wants you to do.
Right.
I think that's part of what makes a great team, is that we find what they're passionate about, and we push them forward on it.
Yeah, you can see some key points, because you seem to zone in on their passions, and then you're investing in them and their education to help them to reach their goals, and then also giving them a sense of ownership in the business and the salon, so it feels more like a team. I think you've got some very strong core values there that make you the success that you are, really.
It's good fun, and I think I love hairdressing. I love creating things. I like doing, fashion week shows and shoots, but I also like, working with a team. They are your family. You spend a lot of time with them.
Yes.
So, you've got to make it work.
Congratulations on a job well done there. And you've won a whole host of awards. Could you just touch on that very quickly?
Yeah, the awards are about being creative. They're about having fun and building your business. And I do a shoot each year, which I absolutely love.
I was looking at your collections. They're fabulous.
Yeah, they're good fun. And I like to get great, because I love colouring, so I like to get that in there. I'm working with texture and curls. So we're currently finalists for London Hairdresser of the Year.
Congratulations.
So we find out in November about that one. Yeah, but I think it's a lot of people shoot just to win awards, but I think we shoot to show off colour. We shoot to show off. That's what we do. And have fun doing it.
And there's a great buzz with that, isn't there? Sort of like looks and
everyone gets involved and puts their input in, and create mood boards. And I don't know, you can't see this part of my office, but there's a whole load of dolls' heads up there where we.
Oh yes! Oh, fab! That way you sort of experiment and create your looks.
Yeah, so when we've got some free time, we come down and just play.
Brilliant.
Little studio. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So you've got to keep that creativity going, otherwise you get bogged down with the day-to-day business bits.
There's so many facets to everything that you do. Like you're very good at juggling with the creativity and the daily business, and then the sustainability and the team management, and then continuing to educate and grow. There's a lot of there, aren't there? A lot of pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, all pieces of the puzzle, and it keeps it all interesting, and it's good fun. You've got to enjoy it. I think that's the key. You have to enjoy it.
I believe that with everything, really, whatever you pursue in life.
Yeah. And, you've got to fill out the petty cash and do the tax returns.
Yeah. The boring stuff is important.
My mum always said to me, if you don't have the bad stuff, you don't know what the good stuff is. So.
That's it. So we're almost out of time, but I wanted to just touch on one thing. I noticed on your website that you have an interesting approach to reviews, because salon reviews are always so important. And could you just tell us a little bit about that?
What in particular? I haven't looked at the reviews.
Oh, okay. I saw that you have this special sort of like review form, and then you give away like a free haircut and head massage.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. Well, I think, to me, reviews are really important because, nobody's perfect, and some things do go wrong on some days.
Yes.
Not intentionally. Yeah. I always have a thing with my team, praise in public and criticize in private.
Yes.
And, I stand by that. If I complain about something, I always give the person or the company the chance to respond first in private.
Yes.
And that's why we encourage that on our website, because people need to have their say, and if they're really happy, we really want them to have their say. And if they're not, we really, really want to fix it.
That's
yeah, we'd rather get you back in and sort out the problem and find out what went wrong.
Yeah. That's an excellent approach to reviews, though, because I think even where I was coming from was looking at reviews because it's sort of like word of mouth for your salon. Like there's no better marketing than the reviews. But I love that your motivation is actually to find the problem so that you can fix them and give the stellar experience that you offered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all comes down, they're not going to go recommend us if we're not doing the right thing. Yeah, we do that. And I know the bit you talk about as well now, the recommend a friend bit as well. Why not reward your clients for actually recommending, people or a review? Because it's important to make sure that you say thank you. Basically, they're doing your marketing for you. So
that's it. You've got your own ambassadors there, your team.
Yeah,
it's very smart. Okay, so we are out of time at the moment, but Karine, thank you so much. You've been fabulous. Like you're a wealth of information, and I'm really excited to see even the next steps and where everything goes from here on.
Thank you. It's good fun. Well, I love talking, as you can see, especially if I like the subject.
You have a lot that we can glean from. Yeah. And thank you all for listening to Salon Life with WhatSalon, and make sure to join us next week for another episode.
This was another episode of Salon Life with WhatSalon. Visit our site at whatsalon.com for more episodes.